Kia ora, hello, and welcome to Anyway, the podcast where I unpack the chaos of reality TV. I am your host, Natalie McMurray, coming to you from Aotearoa, New Zealand. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy, and there is no place I'm going to. And for the love of God, whatever you do, please do not swing your tambourine anywhere near Omarosa. Let's get into House of Villains Season 1, Episode 9. It's the morning after Bobby had to deal with the consequences of his own actions. Everyone is waking up and getting ready for the day. Bananas is saying bon voyage to Bobby's voodoo doll. He's giving him a shot of Casa Amigos and sending him on his way. Bye, Bobby. Miss you. In the kitchen, Bananas would like to make an announcement that there is only one bedroom in the house that hasn't lost a member, being his, Tanisha's, and Fairplay's room. Omarosa tells Shake that he's the comeback kid from being on the hit list so much and not leaving. Bananas lets him know that he's more like herpes because you can't get rid of them. Eva comes over the loudspeaker and tells the villains that it's time for the Battle Royale challenge. They gather at the front of the house with Joel. Joel tells them that this is the most important challenge yet. The winner will nominate 2 people rather than 3. So both of those people will be up because there's no redemption challenge. He tells them that the challenge is called Blow by Blow. Each villain gets a different colored leaf blower. The house is filled with a bunch of colored balls. They need to blow their colored balls out of the house and into holes in the backyard. The person who gets the most balls wins. There is also an FU hole upstairs where if one of them gets another person's ball in the hole, that villain can no longer participate in the challenge. Joel is all, get ready, get steady, duh. And Omarosa is like, nope. Apparently the show medic has told her that she can't participate from her fake tambourine hand injury. This shit has got to stop. The gaslighting has to end. If I won this challenge, I would put her ass up on the hit list just for being a goddamn menace. And this next scene is the exact fucking reason I love this show in all of its glorious tomfoolery. We get a testimonial from said medic. I could not be more entertained by this man. Not only does he look like Henry Winkler, but he says, in no way, shape, or form did I say that she could not participate. He said nothing of the sort. He's not a doctor. David, the medic, also has a tiny torch for God knows what reason hanging around his neck. I guess to read all the paperwork Omarosa has made the actual doctor type up for her. He also calls her Amorosa, which is kind of funny. Omarosa then says to us, there's just no way she can compete after being attacked by Tanisha, which is a fucking insane thing to say. We all saw what happened. It was filmed. There was no attack. The fact that the producers are even letting her say that is wild to me. You're letting her defame someone, which could be detrimental to Tanisha. I mean, imagine if this shit wasn't on camera and she was making these claims. Would they all just be taking her word for it over Tanisha's? Why? Because Tanisha was on Bad Girls Club? I just don't get it. She says she can't do the challenge with just one hand, which I'm questioning. You can use a leaf blower with one hand, can't you? I'm pretty sure you could, if you tried hard enough. I'd also like to point out that Jax would have absolutely jizzed his pants at the mere thought of this challenge. Remember on season 1 of The Valley when he told us about his love of leaf blowing? I don't really know what that was all about. I guess his compulsive controlling ways got the better of him with those leaves. They're just gonna come back, Jax. You can't get rid of leaves without doing the real work. The leaves are like a metaphor for his mental health issues. I say that having plenty of my own. Not that I'm anything like Jax Taylor. Buff. Anywho, Tanisha wants to know if this means that Omarosa is automatically up on the hit list. No. No, it does not, unfortunately. Even Anfisa agrees with me that you can leaf blow with one hand. The rest of the villains begin. Fairplay feels like he's in a Macca's playground. There's balls everywhere. Anfisa is out to get one of Shake's green balls in the FU hole. Bananas, Shake, and Fairplay are all on the board. Shake has got his leaf blowing down to a fine art. He's at the top. Tanisha is losing her breath. but she's still working her damn ass off to get her balls in check. Bananas is trying his damnedest to win, so he can put Fairplay up on that hit list as revenge. Anfisa is still at the top of the stairs. She's getting pretty puffed herself. She's still trying to get Shake's ball into the FU hole. Too bad she blows that green ball right back down the stairs. She manages to get it back up and into the hole. Shake is now out of the challenge. Good job, Anfisa. Out in the garden, Bananas is rounding up the squad to block Fairplay from getting his balls in. Which means Bananas wins. He's the supervillain of the week. Seeing as everybody was so concerned about the physical threat that Jax posed in regard to winning the challenges, why has seemingly no one given a shit about Bananas? He's beefy as fuck, and he's won quite a few of them. Anyway, Tanisha is doing a celebratory dance for Bananas' win, because she really didn't have to do that much in order to stay safe. That is assuming Bananas will not pull another blindside. Bananas tells us he's going to give this old poodle a run for his biscuits, talking about Fairplay. And honestly, Johnny Fairplay does look like a poodle. Like a fuzzy miniature poodle. Anfisa is boasting about how she got Shake's ball into the FU hole. She was not going to let Shake win, and I respect that. She also tells us that she's disappointed in Omarosa for not competing. That's some weak-ass bullshit. Outside, Bananas and Fairplay are talking, and Bananas is still placating Fairplay, telling him that he's totally safe. The funny thing is that Fairplay actually believes him. He thinks Omarosa has given him a get-out-of-jail-free card. Later on, we see Tanisha talking to Bananas, and she can barely contain her excitement in the fact that Omarosa is definitely going to be put up on the hit list. That is until Bananas is like, this is what's up. We've got to keep Omarosa. Tanisha is fully perplexed by this. Bananas thinks that Omarosa is checked out of the game already, which I completely disagree with. She's just playing a different type of game to the rest of you. She's playing the game where she's the victim and you all get kicked out of the house via some fucked up technicality. She thinks she's being strategic, but it's really fucking pathetic. Tanisha is all WTF Bananas. He says he doesn't think Omarosa is an obstacle to getting to the end. I don't know about this strategy. He then completely smashes a glass full of red liquid all over white furniture, which seems like a bad omen. He's blaming it on the rogue tambourine running around this mansion. This is pretty funny. Good evening, villains. Eva comes over the loudspeaker and tells the people it's time to get ready for the hit list nominations. Meanwhile, Omarosa is in her own little litigious world, chatting away to her lawyer about God only knows what. I'm sure some other ridiculous story of an attack that she's concocted. Probably something about how the Flavor Flav T-Rex downstairs busted her face open with his giant clock necklace. Even though those tiny arms are completely useless, and not to mention the fact that it's an inanimate object. Anyway, in the kitchen, Bananas is cutting Anfisa a deal. He says, if you paddle around the pool with me in that swan boat outside later, I will not put you on the hit list. Which seems like a pretty good deal to me. Fairplay is now questioning everything. He's trying to do the math on who's safe and who's not, but it ain't adding up to him. The villains head to the stronghold. Bananas makes a valid point that he's in the house of villains. He has zero remorse, and he tells us shit's about to go down. Bananas assumes his supervillain seat. The first villain he puts up is Omarosa for being a quitter. And honestly, she makes a good point by saying that you didn't give a shit when your girl Tanisha quit in the critter challenge. I agree, that is a double standard. And I was disappointed that Tanisha just walked out. Bananas says she didn't quit, that was a phobia. He wants Omarosa to know that he's never heard of a phobia of leaf blowers. I can almost guarantee that out of the 8 billion people in this world, at least one of them would have a panic attack at the sight of a leaf blower. Just saying. Omarosa and Tanisha are now going back and forth about who's the fraud. Tanisha is shading Omarosa for how much food she's been ordering, which is kind of hilarious. The editors also replay the scene of David, the medic, telling us he's not a doctor and he cannot tell someone not to compete. Omarosa storms out of the room. She's walking up the stairs and says, putting me up for my injury? Oh, it's legal now, bitch. Omarosa, you've been on the phone with your lawyer since the fake attack happened. What the hell are you talking about? Anyway, for Banana's next nomination, he's taking inspiration from Sue Hawk, who delivered an epic speech in season 1 of Survivor about Richard Hatch being a manipulative snake who deserved to win over Kelly, who she called an unfaithful rat. She also said to Kelly, "If I were to ever pass you in life again and you were laying there dying of thirst, I would not give you water. I would let the vultures take you and do whatever they want to do with you with no ill regrets." Which is a fucking woof. Like, pretty fucking serious. Honestly. That was back when people on Survivor meant business. Bananas is saying something about wolves being bloodthirsty, predictable predators. Unlike rats, on the other hand, who like to hide in the shadows, they're vile, disgusting creatures who spread rumors and innuendo. It doesn't have quite the same impact as Sue's speech, to be honest with you. I'd also really love for the slander of rats to end. As a person who had a rat as a pet, I can say that they're loving creatures who are actually super smart and very clean. They're capable of learning tricks, solving puzzles, and showing empathy, which is more than I can say for a lot of people in this world. So even if they could fucking talk, they wouldn't be spreading rumors and innuendo. Get your facts straight, Bananas. Damn. After that whole debacle, Bananas does a fake out to put up Anfisa, but ultimately puts up Fairplay. He tells Fairplay that these are the repercussions for his actions. And again, we get tears from Fairplay. He looks ridiculous. Crocodile tears, I should say. He's all, "I thought we were best friends, Bananas." Tanisha needs a drink for the show. Bananas thinks Fairplay is having a midlife crisis. Fairplay storms out too, but as soon as he gets to the other side of the fake library door, there are no tears. He's even fucking smiling. At least keep up the act for a while, jeez. Everyone else is filing out of the stronghold and they congregate at the bar. Fairplay is telling Bananas he never went against him and he's declaring his love. Upstairs, Omarosa is back on the phone with her lawyer. I feel sorry for the lawyer whose ear she's chewing off. I hope they're charging her a high hourly rate because they would be making bank if that's the case, given how often she's calling. Fairplay comes into the bedroom where Shake and Bananas are chatting. He admits that he's been crying for the last 15 minutes. We get footage, and I have no idea if he's actually crying or not. He's for sure making sobbing noises. He tells Bananas he loves him. Banana is like, "Prove it by kissing me on the lips." Fairplay walks over with full intention to do it, and Bananas pulls away. I guess the moral of that story is don't play gay chicken with Fairplay. Bananas didn't learn his lesson though, because he now wants Fairplay to stick his thumb up his ass. He goes to do it, and Bananas farts right on Fairplay's thumb. Buff. It's moments like these where I'm like, men truly are disgusting. Shake is pissing himself laughing. Bananas then farts right in Fairplay's face. Double buff. I agree with Tanisha. Keep your gases to your damn self. Bananas comes into Anfisa and Omarosa's room to remind Anfisa that she needs to go on a swan ride with him. He's letting her know that if they sink, he'll let her float on the door by herself, and he'll gurgle to the bottom of the ocean just like Jack in the Titanic. The next morning, Shake and Anfisa are chatting about who they want to leave. Shake assumes Anfisa will save Omarosa. Anfisa says it would probably be in your best interest to do the same because she's not competing in challenges. Shake is dubious. He, like me and everyone else, thinks this shit is a ruse. He sarcastically says, "Oh, why? Because she's so weak and feeble?" He's not buying what Omarosa is selling. Bananas has his captain hat on. He's ready to board his swan. Fairplay and Shake are talking outside. Fairplay is reminding him who's going to give Shake a vote if he makes it to the final 3. It won't be Omarosa and it won't be Anfisa. Enough said. Shake and Fairplay are helping Bananas push the swan into the pool, and Bananas is screaming at Anfisa to get her butt outside. She's severely regretting saying yes to this date. Fairplay is also regretting Anfisa saying yes to the date. He doesn't want Bananas and Anfisa to intermingle. He's all, "Stop it! No flirting! No talking! No canoodling!" He's reminding me of that scene in Arrested Development where the prison guard yells, "No touching!" And George Blues Sr. puts up his hands and starts screaming, "No touching! No touching!" Oh, God. Over on the Swan, Bananas is giving Anfisa a tour of all the crap alongside the pool. Fun, fun stuff. Fairplay is spiraling. He's in full paranoia mode. He's talking to Tanisha about if Bananas won the 200K, that's appealing to Anfisa, and how flirty she's being with him. Next, he'll be asking if she hears the helicopters too. We go back to the Swan, and Bananas is serenading Anfisa with his shitty singing and guitar playing. Oh boy. Inside, Omarosa pulls Shake for a chat, because Shake is the swing vote. She's trying to convince him to keep her, obviously. He says, if you and Anfisa can give me your word that you will vote for me to win if I'm the top 3, then we have a deal. She agrees. To us, she basically says Shake is a fucking dummy for believing her. Correct, Omarosa. Upstairs, Shake is telling Tanisha to save Omarosa because he thinks Fairplay will be harder to get rid of down the line. He thinks the situation she has with Omarosa is clouding her judgment. To which I say, as it fucking should, she's accusing Tanisha of assault. Hello. Tanisha is like, hell no, that bitch is gone. And you've got to give it to Tanisha for sticking to her guns. As far as I can tell, she's the only person in this game that's doing what she says she's gonna do. Eva tells the people that it's time for the Banishment Ceremony. In the kitchen, Shake is doing more dodgy dealings with Omarosa and Anfisa. All while still telling Fairplay that he's got his back. He apparently has a speech for us tonight, which I'm very much not looking forward to. They all head into the stronghold and Bananas takes his seat. Fairplay and Omarosa stand by the chairs. I have no idea what event Omarosa thought she was dressing for, but she looks like she's about to do an ice skating routine. Joel asks for final pleas. Omarosa says, I don't consider any of you as a foe, which really doesn't seem like the case. Fairplay says, I competed in the challenge. Simple. Joel asks if anybody else has something to say. Shake is like, yep, over here. And all of a sudden, Omarosa has some kind of emphysema. She's like having a coughing fit. Shake is taking his 5 seconds of fame. He's really power tripping over being the swing vote. He delivers his weak-ass speech, saying to Fairplay, the crying has to stop, and Omarosa, you don't really respect the game. Boring. Even my cat wasn't entertained by that. The people go to vote. Turns out the coughing fit is to stop the producers from putting the cheer straps on. Seems safe. Votes are in. 5th villain leaving is Omarosa. Tanisha tells her to go to hell. Omarosa responds, I'll see your family there. Then Tanisha says, you're fired. Again. LOL. A producer or safety person or someone runs over to adjust Omarosa's cheer straps because she wouldn't let him do them before. And she's all, I can't go back on this thing. A tambourine hit me in the chest and now I'm not able to breathe. She's asking for her friend David, the medic. Poor David. I'm sure he's just trying to provide for his medic family, and now he has to deal with this bullshit. David enters with a fucking head torch and a giant jacket on. He looks like he's about to try and summit Everest. What is happening? Omarosa says she can't take the compression. David wants to know what she wants to do. But Omarosa will not say a word. She's looking deep into David's eyes, imploring him to give her an out. He's not taking the bait. He's like, I need you to tell me what you want to do. It's a standoff for the ages. Meanwhile, Joel is taking selfies. He probably can't believe his luck with this foolishness. Fairplay wants to get the fuck out of his chair just in case everyone else has a change of heart. 2 producers come over to Omarosa and she explains the mysterious compression of it all. For some reason, she thinks that the chair is a death trap. She's not willing to give her life. I mean, the chair looks dangerous, but like, not death dangerous. Come to find out, it was all a ruse from Omarosa so she could walk her ass out the front door. The producers tell her to get going. Tanisha calls her a spoiled, entitled, pompous jerk. I couldn't agree more. Omarosa is now in her confessional, blabbing on about how she's proud of her run and she's not a quitter and blah, 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 blah. Bye, Omarosa! Joel says, we still need to flip someone back. And he takes one for the team. Him and voodoo doll Omarosa get strapped into the chair. Joel says, see you at the final Battle Royale, motherfuckers. And Bananas flips him the fuck back into the wall. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for listening. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.